So, the WNBA Power Rankings are out. And these are the most recent Power Rankings. It happens every week. And the Fever, who obviously started off the year at number 12 in the Power Rankings. Sorry. They didn't go in, well, they didn't start the year at 12. But after 1 or 2 weeks, they were at 12th. Because obviously the Sky were 12th, but the Sky have been way better than we're expected to in preseason. As much as anything, because of how great Reese has been compared to how she was expected to be, and also the fact that Kennedy Carter is at it playing like Kennedy Carter. People thought Kennedy Carter was going to do after rookie year. Before we get on to you guys that are new to the channel, subscribe. We just lost a single subscriber there, so if we could hit 22,393 subscribers by the end of the day, that'd be greatly appreciated. But these are the power rankings right here. So it says here, new number 1 and Fever. Obviously, you can see where the Fever is, but the New York Liberty are number 1. I don't understand why the Liberty went down. It makes absolutely no sense why they went down the power rankings. Because the Liberty have been, in my opinion, the most consistent team throughout the year. Like, no Lainey Hamilton or Breanna Steward, and they comfortably beat the Sky. Phoebich might, I'm not joking, when we're talking about rookies, I think there is an argument to be made. The Phoebich is number 3 after the big 2. I think you can make that argument. I think it's a very flimsy argument, but I think it's easier to make the argument that Phoebich should be the 3rd best rookie than it is to make the argument that Caitlin Clark isn't the best rookie this year. So that's kind of at the same level. But the likes of Kayla Thornton and Kennedy Burke, they have been great so far. And Sabrina Ionescu has been one of the best guards in the entire WNBA this year. She's been incredible. Absolutely incredible. She's tied for the 3rd most 25.5 assist games through an WNBA player's first 5 seasons with 17. Only Cynthia Cooper and Taurasi have more. I think, what does Clark have? 4? I'm pretty sure Clark has 4 this year. I think she definitely had 2 30s. I think she's got 4. She might have less, but I think Caitlin Clark's got 4 through her rookie year. Either way, the Connecticut Sun at 2. I wouldn't put the Sun at 2. Like, as decent as they've been, I still wouldn't put the Sun at number 2 right now. Carrington has been unbelievable. And again, like, Banham hitting 8 3-pointers. Like, come on now. Come on. Although it was against a poor Phoenix team. That poor Phoenix team nearly came back against the Fever. But the whole thing is that even though it is a poor Phoenix team, you've still got Carrington to play defense. So Cal Copper's not going to absolutely cook them like she cooked the Fever. So their 18-5 record still ties, like, is their best in franchise history. But 4 losses over the past 3 weeks. They've been fine. They've been good. It's just, I wouldn't put them as the top 2 teams in the WNBA because I think the Aces have now shot up. And as much as anything, it is because, like, they're 10-1 since Chelsea Gray's come back. But I don't think it's due to Chelsea Gray. I've said it. If you just put Julie Van Loo in the starting lineup, if you put Lindsay Allen in the starting lineup, heck, if you started Kate Martin at the point and you allowed your shooting guard to play the 2 and you allowed your small forward to play the 3 and those wings play the positions, I still think they would have had a better record to start the year. But A'ja Wilson is without question the MVP. She is having one of the best individual seasons of all time. Maybe the best individual season of all time. 24, 20, and 4 in a game. 33, 18, and 5 blocks. 28, 17. And, like, she is the best player in the world by so much. By so much. The gap between her and Breanna Stewart at 2 is bigger than the gap between, like, Breanna Stewart and, I don't know, trying to think who I would call the 10th best player in the WNBA. The 10th best player, let me just say, is do you give your 10th to, like, Nneka? There's a bigger gap between 2nd and 10 than there is between 2 and 1. But Chelsea Gray's obviously made the team better despite Chelsea Gray being not good herself. The Storm in 4th, I'm good with that. I'm good with the Storm in 4th. Because the Seattle Storm being in 4th means that like, they're a really good team. Like, they are a quote-unquote super team. Like, when you've got Nneka, when you've got Skylar Diggins-Smith, when you've got Horston playing like she is, when you've also got Jewel Lloyd, and Jewel Lloyd's just such a weird player. She's sometimes great, sometimes terrible. So I don't really know. Wait, have we not seen the Lynx? There's no way, right? There's no way they have the 11 and 14 Fever ahead of the Minnesota Lynx, the Commissioner's Cup champions. You did not just do that. Like, this is the power rankings. This is the power rankings. Like, this is wild. This is wild. I'm sorry. This is absolutely wild. There is just no way. There is just absolutely no way you've done this. After a disappointing loss to the Mystics, they bounced back with victories out of Mercury. And like, they both had injured players. Teams are 500 and better. Like, come on, ESPN. Come on, ESPN. Like, you have had, I know it's on the ABC side, but it's the ESPN list. We saw the like ESPN judging by cherry picking stats to say that Caitlin Clark was the sixth best rookie in the WNBA. We've seen that already. Let's not go the opposite way and cherry pick 2 wins against teams that were hurt. Like, there has to be context. They're not putting context in. The Fever will take whichever wins they can get to look to get the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Better yet, Indiana's prevailed in 4 of its past 5 games against teams entering with a winning records after starting season 0-8. They weren't even 0-8. They were like 0 and whatever it was, probably like 18 last year as well. But the win in Minneapolis in an arena Caitlin Clark is familiar with was especially impressive, given how the figures doubled the Lynx in the fourth quarter. Aaliyah Boston notched up her first career 15-15 game, while Clark's streak of consecutive double-doubles was stopped at 5. She's averaging 15, 5, and 5 per contest through 25 games, something only Breanna, Candice Parker, and Lindsay Whalen have done. Following its 1-8 start, they've gone 10-6 and has a winnable game against Dallas. Yeah, if they go 11-6 in their last 17 games, which is incredible. But there's no way, I'm sorry, there is no way the Minnesota Lynx, they've had better weeks. Okay, like, Collier's literally resting for the Olympics. She's probably fine. Like, she's realistically fine. She's just resting for the Olympics. They're 2-3 without her and sit 4th in the standings. But, like, they're still 16-8. It doesn't really matter that they've had a bad week. They're 2-3. Like, you can't put a 16-8 team behind an 11-14 team. That's crazy. By that logic, you have to put the Aces above the Sun. You have to put the Aces above the Sun. They're 10-1 in their last 11 games. If you're just basing it on the thing, there's no way you can have the Aces at 3 and the Fever ahead of the Lynx. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely zero sense. But you know what? There are a lot of things that make zero sense when it comes to ESPN, especially that damn stats where they put in stats we've never heard of. The Mercury 7th, fair enough. The Mercury are in a injury crisis right now. Kat Copper's brilliant, but yeah, I can see them dropping below 500. Like it says here, they face the Mystics on the road. I would predict the Mystics to win this game. 8 is the Sky. I'm guessing the Mystics have to be 9. Like that's one that I don't really love is the Sky in 8th. If you're asking me, I would have the Mystics above the Sky. I would. I think the Mystics are so much better than they look. Like, I actually think the Mystics might be better than the Fever. Like, that is not a joke. I think the Mystics might be better than the Fever. I've watched so much of the Mystics, and it's like, they just keep losing close games. They just can't finish out games. The Mystics, I like the Mystics. I genuinely like the Mystics. But the Chicago Sky, they went 1-2 beating Atlanta. They beat a barely functional Atlanta team, and then lost twice to Liberty. Again, Liberty at Liberty. The first game against the Liberty was a close one. And, like, that was a game that, like, it was, I think, if they weren't out there double hunting, they might have won that game. And then the second Liberty game, they lost to Liberty without 2 of their 4 best players. The second was a bad loss. The first one wasn't. She finished with 8-16. Still has 18 games, 10 plus rebounds. Yeah, again, injuries, unbelievable rebounder. The losses to New York by 15 and 14. The funny thing is like the 15-point loss wasn't as bad as the 14 one, where the Sky's large of the season. Did they not lose by? Well, to be fair, they lost by 13. So like they've lost, other than the Atlanta Dream game, and the Atlanta Dream suck. They've lost their last 3 games by 13, 14, 15. Chicago felt riptide for taking with the Liberty, so short-handed. Instead, the Sky put up just 67 points, their second fewest this season, including 34 in the paint, tied for season low. One positive, in fairness, yeah, Marina Mabry has been shooting the lights out. The Mystics are so much better in their record. I actually really like the Mystics. I really like Aaliyah Edwards. I really like Ariel Atkins. I really like what's her name? I really like Julie Vanley with the 1. And Dolson's a good big. Like, when Shakira Austin, Sykes, and Carly Samuelson come back, this is a good team. It's a good thing. Even not more so just Shakira Austin and Sykes. Like, Samuelson's just a solid player. But Ariel Atkins, like, if I was to pick Team USA, Ariel Atkins would be on it. 100%. Because she's so good on defense, and she's also can give you 30 on any given night. Like Ariel Atkins, as far as guards are concerned, I would put her in that like Clark tier of guards. I think Ariel Atkins is superb. But I just like the Mystics. I don't know why. I said it when they were 0-12. They've gone 6-6 after an 0-12 start. Even after, like, when they were 0-12, I remember watching them and I'm like, these are the best 0-12 team I've ever seen. And they were losing in close games. They just kept losing. The Sparks are in a tankathon. How are a team at a tankathon in 10th? At their 15-point loss to Lynx without Collier, they went and beat the Wings. To be fair, actually, Rickea Jackson's starting to play very, very good. She is starting to play very well. I don't know why I said very good. She's playing very well. And she's starting to score. Like, she is emerging as the third best rookie. I think, again, you can argue Phoebich, but I do think Rickea Jackson is definitely the third best rookie. Her, Aaliyah Edwards, and then there's the Phoebich and Van Loo for kind of, I think, for like the more so and in the 5th spot in the rookie rankings. But the LA Sparks in 10th. The Dallas Wings, I don't know how they were 10th in the last ranking, but post-Olympic break, they should be okay. They should be all right. Because post-Olympic break, Satu and Seagrass should be back. With Satu and Seagrass back, they should be all right. And like even with Natasha Howard back, they're struggling. Like, Arike, Arike, you just know she's going to go off in the next game. She has not had the greatest year. Started off the year fantastically well. She has not been good. She's genuinely not been good over the last couple of games. So, it's not great. But again, they do really need Satu back and just kind of hope that she is back. I think she's playing the Olympics, so she'll definitely be back. And then there is the Atlanta Dream, who are pathetically bad. Like when Ryan Howard, when Aerial Powers come back. Okay, so Aerial Powers came back against the Storm. But like when Ryan Howard and Jordan Canada and stuff come back, they'll be fine. But like right now, they are literally just Parker Tyus and Tina Charles. And like they're like literally having to force feed a 36-year-old Tina Charles and hope for the best. Like they're really struggling. They're really, really struggling right now. But the Dream in 12th, 100%. Like again, look, this is a team that was 6-5. Or were they 6? They were either 6-5 or 6-6. And they might have been 6. They were 6-6 when the Fever beat them. Since then, I think it's going 6-6. They're 1-10. Like they deserve to be at the bottom. But by the way, if 1-10 gets you to bottom, 10-1 can't get you third. So yeah, the Indiana Fever in 5th. I think that is crazy again. There's no way they should be ahead of the Lynx. But I mean, a wild old spot. Other than the Indiana Fever and Lynx I think the Fever deserve to be ahead of Mercury. But I do think the Lynx and the Fever should be flipped. And I think the Sun and the Aces should be flipped. And then I'm okay with the rest of it. I think if you wanted to put Mystics ahead of Chicago, you could, but I don't hate it. Like, it's not that big of a difference. Putting Sky at 8 and Mystics 9. Because, you see, I don't know what's going to happen post-Olympic break. Because it just depends. Like, Dallas they're probably going to be the best of all these teams. If the Dream can win their next game and go in 8-16, if they go in 8-16 versus 9-15 Sky, I would predict the Dream to make the playoffs. If they can go and beat, who is it they're playing against the Mercury? If they go and beat the Mercury and go 7-18 again versus 9-15, the Mystics are still in play to make the playoffs. So it's going to be a really tough race. But again, I will also say if the Fever go in 12-14, it'll be a disaster if they don't make the playoffs. Either way, it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.